Hello, welcome to EPG Pathshala Spanish. My name is Nabil Ansari and I teach Spanish in the Center of Spanish, Portuguese, Italian and Latin American Studies in Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. We are in the paper entitled Spanish Grammar 1. In this module entitled ¿Qué cosa es?, you will learn about nouns and definite and indefinite articles. Also, you will learn how to name and identify people, animals, plants and objects in Spanish. A noun, which is called sustantivo in Spanish, is a word used to identify a person, animal, object, idea or things. In Spanish, every living or non-living noun is either masculine or feminine, and it is preceded by a definite or an indefinite article or determiner. Thus, it is important to know and learn the gender, that is, whether the object or person is masculine or feminine of the noun, as it affects the articles that precedes the noun as well as the adjectives that describes it. So when you see a new Spanish word, you should always learn it with the definite or indefinite article so that you can remember its gender. So remembering the gender of a noun is very important in Spanish. So the definite article or indefinite article in Spanish will be el or un before a noun. Thus when you see a Spanish word, you should always learn it with the definite or indefinite article so that you can remember its gender. Thus remembering the gender of the noun is very important in Spanish. So you use el or un before a noun and it which is masculine, and you can use la or una before a noun which is feminine. Now let's talk about the article. An article is a word which is used with a noun in order to indicate the speaker's knowledge about the reference made by the noun. There are two types of articles. So the definite article, like the in English, and the definite article is used to identify a particular known item, and there are indefinite articles like a or an or some in plural in English, and they are used for naming something unspecific or vague. So you already know the English grammar, that in English grammar there are the definite article which is the, and indefinite article which is a or an or some. And in Spanish we have 4 definite articles. In English we have just one, the, but in Spanish we have 4 definite articles. The articles are el, la, los and las. So the definite article in Spanish can vary according to the number and gender. Number, by number I mean whether the object is singular or plural, and by gender I mean whether the object is masculine or feminine, or whether the noun is masculine or feminine that it defines. So the article, the definite article in Spanish is singular, it is el, la. So el is for masculine singular object and la will be for feminine singular object, and los will be for masculine plural and las will be used for feminine plural. Now to understand this better, let's see one example. As you can see here, el chico. Chico is a boy, masculine but singular, that's why the article used is el chico. And la chica. Why la? This why definite article la? Because chica means girl, so it's feminine, so that's why la is used. Same way, chicos, like masculine plural, that's why los is used, and las is used for chicas, which means girls, which means that the chicas is feminine plural, that's why las is used. So again the articles the articles in Spanish are el, la, los y las. So el chico means the boy, la chica means the girl, los chicos means the boys, and las chicas means the girls. So el is used before a masculine singular noun, el chico, and la is used before a feminine singular noun, la chica. Los is used before a masculine plural noun, los chicos. Now This masculine plural noun in Spanish can also include both the gender, which means when I say los chicos, I can refer to only the boys, as well as I can also refer with this los to both boys and girls. But when I say las chicas, it means that there are only girls, so it will only refer to the feminine plural. Now you remember that we use el instead of la in feminine singular noun when a word starts with a, that is a, or a that the word starts with ha, and the stress falls at the beginning of the word. Now why this? It is done to avoid the repetition of the a sound. For example, the water in Spanish is known as el agua, and why not la agua? It is just to avoid the repetition of a with in the word. For example, if I say la agua, so the article ends in a, that is la, and the noun starts again with a, that is agua. That's why we write, to avoid this confusion, we write or we say el agua. Same way, el hacha. Hacha is the axe, so we will not say la hacha, but we will say el hacha. But this exception in plural we will use as las aguas and las hachas, because there are no repetition of the word a in this. So when we say las aguas, so there is no repetition of the alphabet a over there. And we can also say las hachas, which is the axis. Now let's see the uses of the definite article. Definite article is used when we are talking about anything in a general way. For example, when I say el helado es dulce, it means ice cream is sweet. Las casas son grandes, which means houses are big. Or when we are talking about colors, so with colors we use definite article. For example, el rosa es su color favorito, so it means pink is his favorite color. Now definite article is also used with time. That is, we want to say it's 1 o'clock or it's 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, we have to use the definite article. So in these sentences in Spanish, it will be es la una or son las cuatro. Es la una means it's 1 o'clock, and son las cuatro means it's 4 o'clock with time. For example, es la una, which means it's 1 o'clock, or son las cuatro means it's 4 o'clock, and with other time as well. And it's used when talking about body parts in replacement of my, your, his, etc. For example, if I say I have long hair, in Spanish I will say tengo el pelo largo. Even though if you pay attention, then this el, which means the, is not translated in English. Same way, if I want to say he has brown eyes, I will say tiene los ojos marrones, which means he has brown eyes or his eyes are brown. Again, this los ojos marrones, los will not be translated in English. That in English, the meaning of los, which will be the, will not come. It is also used when talking about dates and days of the week, where English employs on. For example, if I say my birthday is on 14th May, the same thing in Spanish will say mi cumpleaños es el 14 de mayo. And if I say I'll call you on Tuesday, in Spanish it will be said as te llamo el martes. So this el will be translated as on in English. Now let's see when we don't use definite article. We don't use definite article with uncountable nouns, means which we cannot count, when we want to express an undetermined quantity of the same. For example, tengo que usar aceite y agua, which means I have to use oil and water. So here it will not be, we will not say tengo que usar el aceite el agua. So here in these cases with uncountable nouns, we don't use definite articles. Now you should pay attention when this el comes with certain prepositions like a and they. What happens when these definite article comes with the preposition a and the preposition they? So if the preposition a is followed by the definite article el, both words combine and they becomes al. For example, as you can see, al mercado. So this al comes from a plus el, because mercado is masculine and it is el mercado, which means the market. So to the market will, when this a will come with el, it will become al. Same way to the cinema, cinema is el cine. Now to the cinema we will not say a el cine, but we will say al cine, because this a, when it comes before el, it becomes al. Same way, if the preposition they is followed by the definite article el, the two words combine and becomes del. For example, from the market, we'll say del mercado. So we'll not say de el mercado. So this de and el will combine, becomes del. Same way, from the cinema, we will say del cine. This del comes from the combination of de plus el. So remember this, that a plus l becomes al and de plus l becomes del. Now let's talk about indefinite article, which is in English a or an and some. Some is the plural. In Spanish, the indefinite articles are un, una, unos, unas. So there are again 4 forms of indefinite articles, that is un, una, unos, unas. And same way like definite article, these indefinite articles also vary according to the number and gender of the noun. Which means if this is a masculine, then we will use un. If it is feminine singular, we will use una. If it's masculine plural, we will use unos, and if the noun is feminine plural, we will use unas. Now let's see one example with indefinite article. For example, as you can see, un profesor. Professor here is masculine, so un, which means a professor or one professor, and una profesora, una because here profesora is feminine, that's why una profesora. Same way, masculine plural, unos profesores, some professors, and unas profesoras, some female professors. Now remember, unos, this masculine plural also will include female. So unos can mean unos profesores can mean only male professors, or it can mean that there are male as well as female professors. But unas profesoras means that there are only some female who are professors. Now, as you can see, un is used before a masculine singular noun, for example, un professor, and una before a feminine singular noun, that is una profesora. Unos, masculine plural noun, and unas, feminine plural noun. Now let's see when these indefinite article is used. It is used when we talk about something mentioned for the first time, and it is introduced as something which is not known. For example, I have a gift for my sister. Now in this sentence, a gift mentioned for the first time, or it doesn't introduce or it doesn't tell what the gift is. So this a gift will become un regalo. So this will be tengo un regalo para mi hermana. Now same way, we should note that as it occurred with L, that is with L, if a noun starts with a or which ha, then we used to use el agua, for example, and el acha, because agua started with a, and even though it was feminine, we used el just not to repeat the sound of a. Same way with indefinite article, we will do the same thing. So instead of saying una acha, we will say un hacha. Instead of saying una águila, we will say un águila. Why so? Just to not to repeat this same a twice. But in plural, these stressed words reinstate their gender, meaning that as they are feminine and plural, so we will not say unos, but we will say unas águilas y unas hachas, because here in plural there is no repetition of a. As you can see, articles as well as nouns possess gender and number. In Spanish, there are two genders, masculine and feminine, and the general rule is that every noun that ends in o is masculine, and every noun that ends in a is. However, it can sometimes get more complex than that. In plural, masculine gender is the general or non-marked gender in Spanish. That means that masculine includes females and males as well. As I mentioned earlier, that masculine plural includes both the sexes, that is male as well as female, whereas the feminine plural will be used only for female objects or people. For example, if I say el hombre, means one man. But if I say los hombres, it means all human beings. Now this includes both male and female. But if I say las mujeres, this las mujeres, it only will mean the female, that is all women. Same way, if I say el oso is bear, so if I say los osos, it will include all the bears, that is all bears. Same way, if I say la congresista, it will mean the Congress women. But if I say los congresistas, then it will mean that all the Congress, male as well as female. Same way, another example, if I say el argentino, it will mean the Argentinian, but los argentinos means all the Argentinian people. So same way, if I say el italiano, it will mean one Italian, that is the Italian. And if I say las italianas, it will mean all Italian women. So this, if I contrast this last with los italianos, then it will include all the Italians, and las italianas will only include the women. Now, one more example. For example, Carmen no tiene hijos. Now, hijo, as you know, is son, and hija is daughter, but hijos will include both sons and daughters. So Carmen doesn't have sons, or Carmen doesn't have sons or daughters, so it will include both the gender. The gender roots its meaning in the reality, since there are male and female beings around us. However, we know that not all nouns in a language refers to sexual being. They are also non-animated reference to things. Nevertheless, Spanish provides with a gender to these nouns that refer to non-animated beings like table, chair, wallet, etc. Therefore, in Spanish, we have every word either masculine or feminine. Now let's see how to know which object will be masculine and which one will be feminine. So in Spanish, the following groups of nouns are masculine. Nouns that end in O. So if a noun that end in O comes, then you can be kind of sure that this will be masculine. For example, el libro. Now libro here, it ends with O, so we can say okay, it is masculine. Libro is masculine, el libro. Same way, museo. Museo ends with O, then we can say okay, it is masculine, el museo. Same way, el verano. Verano ends in O, then it is masculine. Or noun that ends in ache, on, and or. Now, to give you some examples with ache, on, and or, for example, el viaje. Now, viaje ends in ache, that's why it is el viaje, which means the trip. On, like corazón and in on, it is the masculine, so el corazón, the heart. Or like el humor, that is humor. Apart from these, there are nouns of Greek origin that ends in ma. These ones are easy to spot since they have similar counterparts in English as well. For example, in English we say system, problem, program. So all these in Spanish will be all masculine. For example, el sistema, so it ends with ma, so it is masculine. Or problema, so it will be el problema because it is ending in ma. Same way, clima will also be masculine, and programa, again ma, and it will also be masculine. So always remember that even though it ends with a, it will be masculine. El sistema, el problema, el clima, el programa. Now noun, we are going to add some more things which will be masculine to this list, that are nouns that end in or and on. For example, or, color, el color, so it will be masculine, el color. Or calor is heat, so it will be masculine. Same way, ending in on, pantalón, trousers, el pantalón. Or colchón means mattress, so it will be el colchón. Apart from these, there are nouns that end in e, that is with the alphabet E, and they can be masculine or feminine. Now there is no fixed rule for that, and you have to learn them by heart. So examples of this are hombre, ending in E, you have to learn that it is masculine. Or clase again noun, and which means class, ending in E, so you should learn it that clase is feminine, that is la clase. So there are certain exceptions to these rules that you have to that you have learned, that the noun which ends normally in o are masculine. So exceptions to these are, for example, words like photo means photo, so even though it ends in o, it is la foto. Same way, moto is la moto. Or la radio, or la mano. So these are few words which you have again, which you should learn, not to be confused, because even though it ends in o, it is feminine. So words like mano, foto, radio, y moto. This is all about masculine nouns. Let's now see what the feminine names, that is in Spanish. The following the group of nouns is feminine. Now all those nouns that end in a. So nouns that end in o are masculine, and nouns that end in a are feminine. For example, película ending in a, it is feminine, which means movie. So la película. Same way, carta ending in a, that's why it is feminine, and it will be la carta, which means the letter. Apart from those nouns which ends in a, there are nouns that end in sion, that is sion, or sion, that is cion, or tad, that is tad, and dad, that is dad. So all these endings, when you see, then you can be sure that these are feminine nouns. For example, televisión means TV, contaminación means pollution, libertad means liberty, and ciudad means city. So all of these are feminine. So it will be la televisión, la contaminación, la libertad y la ciudad. The nouns that end in E can be masculine or feminine, as we have just seen. So you should be very careful to learn them by heart. Now let's see the exceptions to these rules now. The name of colors are always masculine even though they may end in A. The reason for this is that colors are not nouns and they are adjectives. Therefore, we have to reinstate the word el color when we use these adjectives as nouns. Now, since the color is masculine, every color is masculine in Spanish. For example, el naranja, which means the orange. El rosa, even though it ends in A, it will be masculine. El rosa, the pink. Violeta, again el violeta, that is violet. Something similar happens with the days of the week. Remember, you learned the days of the week. Now, day is a masculine word in Spanish, that is el día. Hence, every day in the week is masculine. For example, it is el lunes, el martes, el miércoles, el viernes, o el jueves, el viernes, el sábado y el domingo. So all these are masculine in Spanish, or el fin de semana, which means weekend. So you notice that the weeks or the days of the weeks are written in small letters in Spanish and they are masculine. Now, some nouns that end in A can also be masculine. So these nouns have a Greek origin and they have similar equivalents in English. For example, nouns ending in A are el día, the day, or planeta, planet, el planeta, or mapa means map, el mapa. So these will be masculine. Now, some words have both genders. They keep their root and they change their ending. By simply changing ending of many Spanish words from O to A, one can refer to male or female. For example, if I say chico, it means boy. But if I say chica, it will mean girl. So el chico or la chica. Same way, if I say amigo, it means a male friend. But if I say amiga, it will be a female friend. Same way, niño means child. So if I say niño, it will be male child. And if I say niña, it will be a female child. If the masculine form of the noun ends in R or L consonants, the feminine form will be formed by adding A. That is, for example, professor means male professor and profesora means female professor. Same way, señor means Mr. and señora means Miss or Mrs. Español means el español means, it can mean Spanish as a language, but it can also mean the nationality, that is the Spanish man, and la española will mean the Spanish woman. The nouns referring to people that ends in ante or ente or ista generally have one ending for both masculine and feminine. For example, estudiante, it can be male or a female. So it can be el estudiante, it will mean male student, and la estudiante, which will mean female student. Thus, in this module, let's see what have you learned. You have learned about nouns and definite and indefinite articles, and also you have learned to name and identify people, animals, planets and objects, which means that you know how to classify all these into male and female following certain rules. Obviously, you also are now aware with the exceptions to the rules. If you want to practice more and if you want to do more exercises and for more information, you should refer to the e-text. Thank you.